tap that to my heart? Won't you tap that so I can start?
Greetings, Love Posse. Once upon a time, I was married, and sometimes I would withdraw my love. Sometimes I would give my husband the cold shoulder. Sometimes I would start an argument. It wasn't until later on my spiritual journey, as I grew and expanded and developed personally and spiritually, that I realized that the cold shoulder, that the withdrawing of my love, being silent, that the arguments I would start about the way he sat on the couch. You're not sitting on the couch properly, wasn't about the way he was sitting on the couch. There was a wound beneath the argument. There was something that I needed. And I realized that I didn't want to be married. And let me be clear, it had nothing to do with him. It could have been anyone. I didn't want to be married. But what was the need even beneath that? The need was for my freedom. So that's why the withdrawal of love, the cold shoulder, the starting of arguments about the way he sat on the couch, I was saying, I need my freedom. I need my freedom. Because marriage to me was suffocating. It felt like I was a prisoner. No one was going to tell me what to do, I can be friends with, how late I can stay out. I needed my freedom. So, Love Posse, today's message: beneath the argument is a wound asking to be seen, asking to be healed. Love Posse, there are no petty arguments. Have you ever found yourself in an argument and later you realize that the argument really was about the thing that you were fighting over? What if I told you that every conflict is about a wound beneath the words? It's about a wound from childhood, your younger self asking to be seen, heard, loved, wanting to feel safe. So today we're going deeper into the soul of the argument. So, why are arguments not what they seem? Let's talk about this. Surface triggers, right? We get triggered. The tone of the person's voice, the forgotten chores like the dishes and the trash, or money, right? So many couples fight about money. It's not about those things. It's about something deeper. It's about an unmet emotional need. Your inner child, ego, shadow self is screaming, I need something. Something hurts. I'm in pain. There's a part of me that still needs to be healed. As children, we don't have the language, the understanding, the development, personal, spiritual, psychological, emotional development to ask for what we need. So we don't ask. We behave and project those unmet needs on others out in the world by our behavior. Think about it. Little kids who are feeling like they are not getting enough attention, not being seen or not being heard, what do they tend to do? Misbehave. Some of them get louder, some of them throw things, some of them scream, some of them hit. Adults are still doing those things because as children we have not learned. We didn't learn. Most didn't learn how to ask for what they needed. And then you have those who view asking for what you need as being weak, as a weakness, needing something as appearing weak and vulnerable. So most people never learned how to ask for what they need, how to express that something feels off or missing, how to say, I need this from you, or I need this. I need my freedom. I didn't learn that until much later into adulthood. And this is why people have these seemingly petty arguments about dishes and trash and how someone's sitting on the sofa or withdrawing their love and being silent and cold. So what do we hear when these situations arise? Why didn't you take out the trash? Why didn't you wash the dishes? And generally speaking, we hear this from women, especially women, who assume that their partner or their friend or whomever should know, should be able to read their minds. What do we say? What do women say? You know what you did, or you know what you didn't do, right? Or I don't have to tell you. You should know what it is. How? How is the other person going to know what's beneath the words? So what are some common wounds beneath the arguments? Feeling unheard equals an old wound of abandonment. Control issues equals fear of losing safety. Jealousy equals a wound around self-worth. self-worth or comparison, right? You see your partner, you're at a party and your partner speaks to someone else or is talking to someone else and you're feeling jealous. And they're just talking. But you get triggered. The wound of jealousy, of feeling a lack of self-worth. Or maybe as a child you were compared to your siblings, you were compared to other people. So you are comparing yourself to the person that your partner is having a conversation with. It may just be a conversation, but you've taken it personally because that wound that hasn't been healed, that still feels hurt from childhood, that doesn't know his or her self-worth, is screaming, is asking to be healed. And so you react. And we all know what jealousy looks like, right? So let's consider some questions we can ask ourselves in these situations. For instance, what is this pain trying to say to me? Or why am I behaving this way? Where's this coming from? When we are in these situations, the body holds the energy, feels the wound, because the wound is still in our cellular memory. That's why it still persists. That's why there's still some hurt. It hasn't been healed. It's in our cellular memory. So the body remembers, and the energy is flowing, and it's uncomfortable. It may feel warm. For me, it feels warm. I can feel it bubbling up, just bubbling up from the solar plexus, the gut, and trying to rise up into my heart chakra. So we know when it's happening. So what can we do? We can pause and tune in. How do we pause and tune in? If you are the person on the receiving end of the argument, stop. Pause, tune in, and listen. Remember, a wise person doesn't react. A wise person is curious. Is curious about why their beloved is behaving this way, is acting this way, is curious about what is really causing their beloved to treat them the way they are being treated. So pause, tune in, listen. Listen to the story beneath the words. Listen to the story beneath the action. Listen. Listen to what your beloved is really trying to say. ask yourself, is there something that he or she needs that they're not receiving? Pay attention. This requires presence and being mindful. Pay attention to what's going on inside of you so that you can hold space and be compassionate and loving and not reactionary. If you are the person starting the argument, same thing. Stop, pause, and tune in. And listen. Listen to the voice within. Tune in to what you're feeling. Tune in to the energy in your body that's moving around, the contraction. To the frustration or anger or sadness, whatever it is, tune in and ask, what is this pain, this feeling trying to tell me? What is causing me to feel this way? What is underneath the anger? The frustration, the pain. Pause, tune in, and listen. I offer 3 tools to both participants in this experience, this lesson, this opportunity for personal and spiritual growth and development that we call an argument. Breath work, or as I mentioned, pause, mindful pausing. Take a breath. You're always getting a warning sign. It begins in the body. I know sometimes it just erupts and it's quick. Practice just taking a breath or a mindful pause. When you feel the energy of discomfort, when you feel the triggering. Another tool is journaling. Here's a journal prompt for the one starting the argument. What is this reminding me of? When have I felt this way before? If you are the person on the receiving end of the argument, your journal prompt is something like, what is this person really trying to say? What is it that I'm not hearing? Or what is the real story beneath the argument. And another tool, one of my favorite tools, I'm sure you can guess, EFT tapping. Many of you know that I am an EFT practitioner. I've written a number of books, self-help books about EFT. Tap that too, Healing the Death Trauma, my spiritual grief tapping book, and Tap Tracy's Hair, God Made It Special, my children's book that teaches parents and children about tapping and how to process when your child is being bullied through the use of tapping. I also have directed and produced an award-winning film, Tapping with Autism, which you can find on my website, tiffanyhowardfilms.weebly.com. Also, I have recorded and will post a tapping short that goes with this video for all of you who are interested in tapping. So now my final thoughts. I encourage you to have some compassion for yourself and others. Arguments are not failures. Arguments are messengers. Arguments are opportunities to heal the wounds that still persist and exist within. Arguments are just flashing lights pointing you to the part of yourself, screaming, asking, begging to be healed, saying something within still hurts from childhood, or something within still hurts because of an ego death or your shadow self. And a mantra for you to repeat or chant or whatever you do with mantras. Write it down on a post-it note, stick it on your bathroom mirror. The mantra is, I am able to see the wound beneath the words. I choose love over reaction. I'm able to see the wound beneath the words. I choose love over reaction. When we understand that underneath the words, there's a wound, there's an unmet emotional need, we can move away from the tension, the argument, the reaction, and shift into and towards connection. I invite you to share down in the comments an argument that you had that you now realize wasn't really about the thing you were fighting over. Thank you for your time, Love Posse. Peace and love to and for all sentient beings.